Hey folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. I'm trying to multitask here. You know, I have a sports show in an hour, instant replay. Dave Garner cannot be in today. He's out today. And so Josh, RJ's calling in. Do you know RJ Casey down there in Pickens? He takes care of everything. Everything Pickens, RJ Casey takes care of. We're going to be talking about high school baseball. Got a lot of playoffs starting this week, right, folks? And anyhow, I'm trying to get my stuff ready. I'm ready here. Josh, tell them how to get in touch with us while I'm, what am I doing here? Why can't I send these pictures? I don't know what my problem is here on these pictures. All right, hang tight, hang tight. Let's see what I got going on here. All right. Anyhow, we're back. I apologize for that. Now, all right, so let's go to this right here. Give me a picture. And that's what I said. That's kind of what we're talking about for 2 solid hours, okay? Is you're going to have to out there educate yourself. And I'm sorry, if you can rattle off the House Judicial Committee, all right, and the Senate Judicial Committee, and rattle off that Lindsey Graham and the Republicans have the majority, so Lindsey Graham will be doing the investigation necessary in the Senate, but over in the House, Jerry Nadler will be trying to push impeachment. You will impress your friends at the next wine and cheese party, but you're going to have to know that because you will get their attention. I'm telling you the truth. The next thing you know, you'll have 5 or 6 people listening to you, but you've got to do this yourself, okay? I'm not trying to come across angry. I'm happy like the president. But, all right, give me number 39. Is that ready? Okay. Now, Elizabeth Warren has made the news, and that is what is going to happen on a daily basis. On a daily basis is one of these Democrat brain-dead candidates, okay, will just throw something out so they can be the lead. I promise you, all right? Warren comes out and says to ignore a president's repeated efforts to obstruct an investigation. Keep in mind, when you read that, you just stop right there and say an investigation that should have never started, had no basis, had nothing to go with it. There was no need to investigate. All right? You're saying he obstructed something that should have never happened. Into his own disloyal behavior would inflict great and lasting damage on this country. And it would suggest that both the current and future presidents, see, they got to save our democracy. Future presidents would be free to abuse their power in similar ways. What abuse of power has Trump exhibited here? What? You do know he had the right to say to Don McGahn in a meeting, can't we fire this guy's ass? Mr. President, do you realize they will freak out if you fire Mueller? But can I? Hey, you can fire the guy. I'm just telling you. You just don't know what you're up against here. All right? The severity of this misconduct demands that elected officials on both parties, now pay attention to this, set aside political considerations and do their constitutional duty. We got to, man. I mean, it's not like we want to, Donald. I mean, you could see that, right? You can understand it's not that we want to. We have to, Donald. I mean, who's to say the next president doesn't actually step over that obstruction line? And that means the House should initiate impeachment proceedings against the President of the United States. Okay. So, number 40. Okay. Boston Herald, Elizabeth Warren continues to call for impeachment. Other Dems more cautious. Wow, that goes with what I started the show. There's going to be the three over here and the three over here. There's going to be the cautious and the not cautious. Now, there's going to be a cattle call at 5 o'clock. We'll get into that. Damn, we should do 5 hours on the show today. Now, here's Elizabeth Warren. I get that there are a lot of folks who say this is politically charged. I get it. I get it, man. I get it. Democrats shouldn't go there. I get it that Democrats shouldn't go there. I mean, could be bad for us. Just stay away from it. I get it. There's an election coming up. This could hurt us. But there's some bigger things than politics. Really? Really? Some bigger things. How about the attack on our southern border? We can use the word attack on our southern border. Yeah, what about that? There's bigger things than politics. This is one of them. This is one of those bigger things. I mean, we just have no choice but to go down this road. Elizabeth Warren says, we have to do what we have to do, okay? And then number 30, put up number 30. Now, there's going to be a cattle call at 5 o'clock. Supposedly, there's going to be the Nancy Pelosi group phone call. Speaker Pelosi's office on impeachment, as the Speaker has said repeatedly, one step at a time. We're focused on getting the full unredacted version of the report. And at that time, when we get that, we can release some much more embarrassing shit. Oh, God, I knew I was going to say that. I mean, because all the elite media, they are so prim and proper that they never say that. They never say a bad word on the set. But we can release much more personal stuff. Once we get that, the leaks could really start. If you think you have seen something in the last 2 or 3 days on what the unredacted version gave you, oh, hell, just wait. Hold my beer, Nancy's saying. We're getting ready to release more stuff, and it's going to be embarrassing as can be, and that's exactly what we're going to do, because here's the end all. Here's what we got to do. As well as hearing from Mueller. We have to hear from Mueller. We must. The report raises more questions and concerns that we believe the American people deserve answers to. This may be bigger than politics. This may be bigger than retaining the speakership. I mean, this report raises more questions and concerns, and we have to do that for the American people. Now, let me tell you where they're going, and then we'll get to Nadler, because they're working hard, folks. I mean, the networks have probably sent out a note saying absolutely no time off. You understand? No time off. Where is my, all right, we got, they're happy, 29, all right. 6:01 a.m., Muskrat Minka and Muskrat Joe. Now, if you notice, Minka's in studio, okay? She's in studio. Joe's in Florida. I really hope somebody out there is counting the days, because Joe has to stay in Florida so many days. MSNBC told him as long as it didn't hurt their ratings. I'm sorry, that was laughable. And it didn't hurt the show. Joe could do his segment from Florida. So they get this big studio set up, I guess, in his basement there. But he is there to take advantage of all the tax advantages. Joe wants all the tax advantages Florida offers, so he has to be there like 100. I hope somebody's watching. But look at the bottom there. It's 6:01 a.m. Poll. Report sinks Trump job approval to 437. Okay? Report. The Mueller report sinks Trump's job approval to 37. So I just showed you what Elizabeth Warren wrote. I just showed you what Nancy Pelosi wrote. Okay? I showed you all that, right? Exactly. And everywhere you go, you're going to hear even little pencil neck Schiff say, this has to be bipartisan. Okay? This has to be bipartisan. All right? This has to be a effort with Republicans also. Now, I'm going to give you maybe the good news on this, okay? When you say, will he be impeached? But when they say that, they know if they can push Trump's number, if they can come to the screen, and I'm going to tell you, it's only 4 points. And if they can push 4 or 5, if they can push Trump's number to 33, 32, 31, they think they could scare the hell out of about 10 or 12 Republicans. And I'm telling you, you get about 10 or 12 Republicans on that, you got exactly what you want. Now let's see if I can find what else I want here. That was number 29. I should have a poll number here. Maybe I missed it, so I'm sorry about that. But I thought I had, give me 27. All right. So this morning, they're doing everything, okay? There you go. President Trump job approval, 37%, okay? Down from 326. Do you realize from 326 to 422? Down 6 points. Disapproval, 56. It's up 2 points. Bet if they could get that disapproval around 60, they could get that down to 31, 32. They could maybe have Republicans jump ship. Because, see, there's a couple things the Democrats are saying. They can't pass this up. We cannot pass this up. We cannot just go past this. It just wouldn't be right. Okay? I mean, they're trying to say, hey, we got elected, and, you know, as part of our checks and balances and high crimes and misdemeanors, and, you know, we wouldn't be doing the job we were elected and upholding the Constitution if we don't do this. So, although we think it may divide the country or may put the country through a bad time, or maybe the country's finances would go on hold, let's see what happened during Watergate. Interesting. I wonder during Watergate if businesses were afraid to invest. I wonder during Watergate if interest rates or businesses were concerned, they started cutting back and not investing in people. Wonder what happened in Watergate. See, I wonder if they just launch impeachment hearings officially. They gavel in, welcome this morning. We are now about to start impeachment hearings for they're going to read this whole thing. I mean, Nadler's going to come out and read it. Wonder if businesses will be concerned. Wonder if banks will be concerned. Wonder if credit might tighten up a little bit. Just wonder if they could push the brakes on the economy with everything they plan to do right in time for when the election. See, the president has the economy to run on. And the president has health care to run on. You watch and see. You'll see. What if that would push? Now, give me number 10, all right? Now, NBC, because of who they are. Now, we understand from last week, we noticed when Notre Dame was firebombed. I said that. I'll take it back. It's not a joke. I should never said that. That was wrong. But where it went up in flames, and we it's still unknown to us what caused it. But we noticed on the CNN and Don Lemon, and we noticed on MSNBC how religious they became immediately and how spiritual and everything, because we know they never say like shit, damn, nothing like that in the studio. So they think if they put an S and 3 asterisks, I'm going to ask you something, Josh, and I'm probably going to insult your intelligence here, but does that really throw you off of what that is? Are you that damn dumb?
No, I'm pretty sure I know what that is.
You picked it up?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so so they don't feel you'll be as offended if they say 3 asterisks. So the president had asked him to do crazy shit. Really? Now I don't know. You and I are not in the room. President says, "Don, can't you fire him?" Mr. President, you're talking crazy shit right there. Do you know what would happen? I can't help you, man. I mean, I cannot help you in this. You're on your own, dude. You're out there. Because they are going to freak. Because if you think you fire James Comey, this got this all kicked off, you fire Mueller. Well, is it? See, nobody brings up it would not have been illegal. Would not have. They won't talk about it, but Trump was within all of his rights of looking at all the ways. He wanted to fire a guy that should have never had the job to begin with. That's the kind of guy Trump is. If he brings you in and gives you a job, the assignment needs to be for something, you need to be doing something that is a job that they need done. If not, he'll fire you. He never could put his head around Mueller being needed to do this investigation that was a witch hunt from day one. Anyhow, let's go with Nadler. Let's play this video, and we're going to start and stop, okay? We're going to take a couple minutes, break it down, take a couple minutes. But remember, this is what I'm telling you, is these are the people you got to get used to, and you got to start paying attention to them, all right? And you got to start reading Doug Collins' emails. Of all people, we'll go into that in a minute. Congressman Collins, let's play this.
Welcome back. The battle over the Mueller report is far from done. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Gerald Nadler issued a subpoena on Friday seeking the full unredacted version of the report. In addition to Bill Barr, Nadler wants Robert Mueller, among others, to testify before his committee. So joining me now is the Judiciary Committee Chairman, Gerald Nadler. Congressman, welcome back to Meet the Press, sir.
Good to be here.
Let me start before I get your reaction to some of Mr. Giuliani, let me just start with something from the Mueller report and curious your reaction to it. On obstruction, this is what Mueller writes, Congress can validly make obstruction of justice statutes applicable to corruptly motivated official acts of the president without impermissibly undermining his Article 2 functions. Did you read that as a directive to Congress that basically the call is in your court, not Bill Barr's?
No, I believe that is already the law, and that that sentence is part of an explanation of why he essentially disagrees with Attorney General Barr's wild, far-out legal theory that the president cannot commit obstruction of justice no matter what he does because he is the head of the Justice Department. And he's saying that Congress can make corruptly motivated acts by a president or by anybody in the executive branch a crime, and it has. Unless you think that Barr is right, then almost no lawyer thinks he's right in saying a president is immune from that as long as he does his official powers, right, he can do anything. That's like saying that a member of Congress has a right to vote for or against the Farm Bill. It's true, but if you vote for the Farm Bill or against it because someone gave you a bribe, that's an obstruction of justice and bribery. The president's no different.
Well, let me read you this part, though, because I do think this is the complicating factor, all this. Also from the report. Unlike cases in which a subject engages in obstruction of justice to cover up a crime, the evidence we obtained did not establish that the president was involved in an underlying crime related to Russian election interference. Although the obstruction statutes do not require proof of such a crime, the absence of that evidence affects the analysis of the president's intent and requires consideration of other possible motives for his conduct. They go on to state that whether you think it's distasteful or not, a political motivation, meaning the president concerned about his political standing, might not be an illegal reasoning behind sort of having concern about this case.
No. The Mueller report goes on to state that there may be other considerations that are not crimes that nonetheless are predicates for an obstruction of justice, and that happens all the time to save your reputation for other reasons. What Mueller says, and this is where Barr deliberately, or one of the places where Barr deliberately misled the American people, what Mueller says is that although a thorough FBI investigation might very well show the evidence of obstruction of justice by the president, we're not going to do that because of the Department of Justice legal opinion that a sitting president cannot be indicted, and it would be unfair to lay out the facts justifying an indictment without giving the president the opportunity in a trial to clear his name. So because of that legal doctrine, we're not going to charge him with obstruction. Barr misinterpreted that, or misrepresented that, I should say, to say that they didn't find obstruction. There is plenty of evidence of obstruction, and they say in so many words, if we pursued this, we might put ourselves in an impossible position because we would then have to charge the president with a crime, which the Justice Department won't permit us to do.
Do you assume that the reason Bob Mueller did not charge anybody with conspiracy with the Russians is because he has found that no conspiracy took place, or that he didn't have enough evidence to sustain a conviction? And is there a distinction in your mind?
Well, obviously there's a distinction, but he pretty much states in most cases. First of all, here's again where Barr misled the American people. He said there was no collusion. Collusion is a term that is not a legal term. The special prosecutor Mueller found, as you put on TV a little while ago, that there was plenty of evidence that the Russians intervened in the election to help Trump. There was plenty of evidence that the Trump campaign knew about that, and encouraged, and wanted it, and in fact knew about some of the WikiLeaks dumps of stolen information supplied by the Russians in advance. What he couldn't prove was that there was, beyond a reasonable doubt, was that there was a criminal conspiracy. Although in the one case, I do not understand why he didn't charge Don Jr. and others in that famous meeting with criminal conspiracy, because they were. He said that he didn't charge them because he didn't charge them.
All right, remember where you're at there, Josh, okay? Remember where they're at. And you have Nadler talking about, remember, all weekend long, we're just using him for an example, they all talked about where Barr misled the American people, misled the American people, okay? And the Russian information, okay, that the Trump campaign, see, they still believe it was collusion. They do. They've not accepted, all right? So we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. We got to wrap up today's show, but we're going to watch the rest of this interview because this is a guy you have to know. Whether you want to or not, you've got to know this guy. So, hey, Josh, take us a break, and we'll be right back.